So now we move on to the next topic, that is factorization. Now what do you mean by factorization? Factorization is actually factorization is a method by which we can write any number or any polynomial in the form of factors. Like suppose if I say we need to do the factorization of 4. So how we can write 4 is 2 into 2, that is we have done the factorization of 4. It means we have written 4 in the form of the product of its factors. So as we have written 4 in the form of product of its factors, so this is known as the factorization. In the same way, if we have any polynomial, let's say if we write any polynomial, let's say x square minus 3x plus 2. So suppose we have taken this polynomial. So if we want to do the factorization of this polynomial, what we can do is we can write this polynomial in the form of its factors. Factors of this polynomial are x minus 2 and x minus 1. So it means we have done the factorization of this polynomial. And as we have done the factorization of this polynomial, it means we have written this polynomial in the form of the product of its factors. As 2 and 1 are factors of this, so we have written it in the form of factors. This is known as the factorization. So there are different methods of doing the factorization. First method of doing the factorization is factorization by taking out common factor. So it means we are doing the factorization by taking out the common factor. Let's take one example. If we take one example, let's say 2p into a minus b plus 3q into a minus b. So as we have taken this, now we need to do the factorization. Factorization means we have to rewrite this polynomial in the form of product of its factors. And as you can see, this factorization we are doing by taking out the common factor. So if you see, this 2p into a minus b is the first term and 3q into a minus b is the second term. And if we do the we have to do the factorization is like if we need to take the common factor. So if you see, a minus b is the common factor. So if we take a minus b as common, so it will become a minus b into the remaining part is 2p plus 3q. So it means what we have done is we have written down this polynomial in the form of product of its factors, as a minus b is the factor of this polynomial and multiply 2p plus 3q is the next factor of this polynomial. So it means we have done the factorization of this polynomial. This is known as the factorization. Now we will see one more example is based on this. Let's first write down the polynomial, that is 2p into a minus b plus 3q into 5a minus 5b plus 4r into 2a minus 2b. Now what we need to do is, as you can see, there are three terms. 2p into a minus b is the first term, plus 3q into 5a minus 5b is the second term, and 4r in bracket 2a minus 2b is the third term. So now what we can do is, if we need to do the factorization, definitely what we need to do is we need to see what will be the common term in all these three terms. So if you see, that is in this 2p into a minus b will written as it is. Now next term is 3q into 5a minus 5b. Now if you see in between 5a and 5b, common term is 5. So if we take 5 outside this bracket, it will become 15q into a minus b, and plus in the same way in the third term 2a and 2b, 2 is a common third term. So if we take 2 outside the bracket, it will become 8r into a minus b. So now if you can see, observe these three terms, now you can see the common term in all these three terms is a minus b, and we got this a minus b by taking out 5 from the middle second term and by taking out 2 from the third term. So now the common term in all these three terms is a minus b, and if you take a minus b common, the remaining will be 2p plus 15q plus 8r. So it means we have done the factorization of this polynomial, and as it is, we have written this polynomial in the form of product of its factors. So this is the method of doing the factorization. This is the first method of doing the factorization. Now we move on to the next method of the factorization is, that is factorization by grouping the terms. Factorization by grouping the terms. So in this method, what we need to do, we need to do the factorization by grouping some of the terms accordingly and write down that polynomial in the form of product of its factors. Like we'll take one example as x square plus 1 by x square plus 2 minus 2x minus 2 by x. So we have taken this polynomial. Now what we need to do, we need to do the factorization. It means if you want to do the factorization, definitely we need to combine some of the terms like x square plus 1 by x square plus 2. If we combine this term, it will become x plus 1 by x whole square, because this first three terms is actually in the form of a plus b whole square. So that's why we have written as x plus 1 by x whole square. So it means x square plus 1 by x square plus 2. Now the remaining two terms, in the remaining two terms, if we take minus 2 common, it will become x plus 1 by x. So x plus 1 by x is the remaining part. So it means we have combined first three terms and got the single term as x plus 1 by x whole square, and in the same way we have combined last two terms and got the single term as minus 2 into x plus 1 by x. Now we'll take x plus 1 by x common among these two terms, that is x plus 1 by x whole square minus 2 into x plus 1 by x, and accordingly if we take x plus 1 by x common, it will become x plus 1 by x minus 2. So this we got by grouping the terms and again by taking out the common term from the terms we grouped. So in this way we have written this polynomial in the form of product of its factors. Now we'll see one more example based on this. That is, first write down the example as x square plus 3x whole square minus 5 into x square plus 3x minus y into x square plus 3x plus 5y. So now if you can see here that there are four terms, that is x square plus 3x whole square minus 5 into x square plus 3x minus y into x square plus 3x and plus 5y. Now what we need to do is, if we want to solve this question, what we can do is, first we need to combine some of the terms. So if we combine some of the terms, like suppose if I say if we combine the first two terms, it means if we take out common from these two terms, the common from these two terms is x square plus 3x. So remaining is x square plus 3x minus 5. In the same way, if we combine the last two terms and take out y common, so it will become x square plus 3x minus 5, because we have taken minus y common. So in this way we have combined the first two terms and got the single term, and in the same way we combined the last two terms and got the single term. Now there are two terms. So among these two terms, if you see, the common term is x square plus 3x minus 5, and as we have taken it as common, so the remaining is x square plus 3x minus y. So these two terms we got by taking out the common term, that is x square plus 3x minus 5. So in this way we need to combine the terms, taking out the common terms from this, and accordingly make it a single term or make it a product of the factors of the polynomial. So in this way we have done it. Like initially there were four terms, so we have combined the terms and make it as a two terms in the second step, and in the third step what we have done is we have combined these two terms and make it a single term. So in this way we have done the factorization. So this is the second method of doing the factorization. Now we will see one more method of doing the factorization, that is factorization by making a perfect square. So in the third method what we are doing the factorization by making it a perfect square. Like suppose we'll see one example based on this. Like if we take the terms as 4a square plus 12ab plus 9b square minus 8a minus 12b. So we have taken this polynomial. Now what we need to do is we need to make it up in the form of perfect square. So as if you observe here, this 4a square plus 12ab plus 9b, if we combine this term, it will actually become 2a plus 3b whole square, because 2a plus 3b whole square is like it is actually in the form of a plus b whole square. That is a plus b whole square is a square, that is 2a square is 4a square, b square that is 3b square is 9b square plus 2ab, that is 2 into 2a into 3b, that is 12ab. And accordingly, if we combine these two terms, if we take out common from these two terms, the common is 4, and if we take common, it will become 2a plus 3b will remain in the bracket. So it means we have combined the three terms and make it a perfect square as a single term, and we combined these last two terms taking out the common from this, and it made these two terms as a single term. Now if you see, there are only two terms, and again it is not properly factorization, because factorization is actually the writing the polynomial into the form of product of its factors. Now as this is the first term and this is the second term. Now if you see, among these two terms, common term is 2a plus 3b, and the remaining part is 2a plus 3b minus 4. So it means now we have done the proper factorization. So what we have done is, we have make it a perfect square, and after making it a perfect square, we have taken out the common term and then made it as a single term, that is the product of the factors. So it is not compulsory that if you are making it a perfect square, we don't use the factorization method of taking a common term or grouping the terms. We definitely have to do. It means in a single polynomial we can do the different, we can actually have to apply the different factorization method. Like sometimes in the single question we need to take the perfect square also, we need to do the grouping of terms also, and we need to take the common factor also. So in the single question, when different ways of factorization method can be used. Now we'll see one more example based on this. So first we'll write out the example as, that is a square plus b square minus 2 into ab minus ac plus bc. Now if you see, what we need to do here is, first we need to open the bracket. So a square plus b square minus 2ab plus 2ac minus 2bc. So now if you see, a square plus b square and minus 2ab, these three terms will combine and will become a minus b whole square. That is a square plus b square minus 2ab, and the remaining term is 2ac plus 2bc. And if we take common term from this, that is 2c is the common, so remaining is a minus b. So this we got by combining the terms and making it a perfect square. And now if you see, among these two terms, that is a minus b whole square and 2c into a minus b is common, and accordingly the remaining part is a minus b plus 2c. So in this way we have done the factorization. First we have made it a perfect square, and then what we have done is we have taken out the common factor. So this is the method of doing the factorization. Now we'll see one more example based on this is, that is 2x square plus y square plus 8z square minus 2 root 2 xy plus 4 root 2 yz and minus 8 zx. So now if you see, that is, we can actually make the perfect square for these terms. It's actually in the form of 2a square plus b square plus c square plus 2ab plus 2bc plus 2ca. It's actually in this form. So what we need to do is, we can write 2x square as root 2x whole square plus y square and 8z square as 2 root 2z whole square. Now minus 2 root 2xy can be written as minus 2 into root 2x into y. In the same way, plus 4 root 2 yz will be written as plus 2 into 2 root 2 y into z. And in the same way, 8zx can be written as minus 2 into root 2x into 2 root 2 z. So this actually we have written it in the form of a square plus b square plus 2ab, sorry, a square plus b square plus c square minus 2ab plus 2bc minus 2ca. So we have written it in this form. And now if we combine it, what will become? It actually will become in the form of root 2x y and z whole square, and definitely there the sign will be accordingly on the basis of that negative sign will be in the front of, as you can see that negative sign is there in the front of 2 root 2 x and y. and also in the front of 2 root 2x into 2 root 2z. So among these two terms, that is among these two negative terms, if you see, the common part is root 2x. So definitely we need to apply the negative sign in front of root 2x, and accordingly in front of y and z, z is actually 2 root 2z, and in front of y and z we need to apply plus sign. So now this is actually in the form of minus 2 root 2x plus y plus 2 root 2z, that is minus root 2x plus y plus 2 root 2z whole square. And if you open this, you will get the same term as the initial polynomial, that is 2x square plus y square plus 8z square minus 2 root 2xy plus 4 root 2yz minus 8zx. So in this way we have made the perfect square of all the terms and make it as a single term. That is, we have done the factorization by making a perfect square.